The Secret Letter. In the small town of Willow Creek, where each morning began with the rustle of trees and the distant ringing of church bells, a mystery had been buried for decades beneath layers of silence. Life in Willow Creek was simple. Children played by the riverside, old men sat on their porches sipping iced tea, and neighbors greeted each other with smiles. But within the walls of a weathered, ivy-covered house on the edge of Maple Street, a story waited patiently to be told. That house belonged to Eleanor Bennett. Eleanor, once a spirited schoolteacher, was now a solitary figure with silver hair and wise, watchful eyes. Though retired, she remained well-respected, and her presence at community gatherings always drew polite nods. Yet, for all her quiet grace, there was something about Eleanor that whispered of secrets, of stories long forgotten. One summer afternoon, 12-year-old Tommy Wheeler was speeding down Maple Street on his rusted red bicycle. A naturally curious and adventurous boy, Tommy idolized fictional detectives and spent his free time searching for mysteries in the most ordinary places. As he swerved near Eleanor's fence, his eyes caught sight of something odd, a small, folded piece of paper caught between the steps of Eleanor's porch. He braked hard and hopped off. The paper was dusty, its corners torn and curling, but one word scrawled across it caught Tommy's attention: truth. He crouched down and gently pulled the note free. As he unfolded it, he saw it was an envelope, aged and sealed with a waxy, cracked stamp. Written in looping, elegant handwriting were the words: "To be opened when the truth is ready to be known." Tommy's heart pounded. He looked around, half expecting someone to stop him. But the street was quiet, the summer heat heavy and still. He tucked the envelope into his pocket and pedaled away. That night, Tommy lay in bed staring at the letter. Questions swirled in his mind. Who wrote it? What was this truth? And how long had it been hiding there? His imagination ran wild. Maybe it was a treasure map. Maybe it held a confession. Maybe it was part of a long-lost story just waiting to be uncovered. Unable to resist any longer, he made a decision. The next morning, Tommy returned to Eleanor's house not to snoop again, but to confess. He approached her garden gate slowly, fidgeting with the envelope in his hand. Eleanor, in her sun hat and gloves, was pruning her roses. She looked up and raised an eyebrow. "Tommy Wheeler," she said, setting her clippers down. "You look like you've seen a ghost." "I found something," he said, holding the envelope out to her. She took it, stared at it for a long moment, and then sighed, a deep, tired sound that seemed to carry the weight of many years. "You weren't supposed to find this," she said. "I'm sorry," Tommy said quickly. "I didn't open it. I thought maybe it was important." Eleanor studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Maybe it's time someone else knew. Come in." Eleanor's house was filled with old books, porcelain figures, and the scent of lavender. She guided Tommy to the parlor and sat down slowly in her creaking armchair. With trembling hands, she opened the envelope. Inside was a letter, written in the same delicate handwriting. "Dear Future, if you are reading this, it means you have found my secret. I need help. Something terrible happened, and I couldn't tell anyone, not then. But one day, someone might listen. Someone kind. Someone brave. My name is Eleanor Bennett, and this is the story of Anna Cole." As Eleanor read, her voice grew softer. She began to tell Tommy about her childhood, about how she and Anna had been best friends, inseparable, always together after school, exploring the forest, inventing games, and sharing secrets. But one stormy night, everything changed. Anna had come to Eleanor's window, soaked and trembling. "She told me something was wrong," Eleanor whispered. Her father, he wasn't who everyone thought he was. She was scared, terrified. Anna had begged Eleanor to run away with her, but Eleanor had hesitated. Before she could decide, Anna had bolted into the woods. "And she never came back," Eleanor said, her voice breaking. "No one believed me. They said her family moved away overnight. But I knew. I knew something was wrong." Tommy sat frozen, the mystery unfolding before him like the pages of a novel. "Why didn't you tell anyone after?" "I tried, but I was a child. No one listened. I wrote that letter the next day and buried it under the porch, hoping someday someone would find it. And maybe, just maybe, they could help me find the truth." Tommy leaned forward. "Let's find out what happened to Anna." The investigation began. Every day after school, Tommy would ride to Eleanor's house, and they would comb through old records, photo albums, and news archives. They talked to elderly neighbors, visited the town library, and even tracked down a few former classmates of Anna's. It was slow work, but eventually they pieced together more clues. Anna's father, Richard Cole, had been investigated quietly for business fraud in the early 1960s. Rumors of violence in the household had circulated but were quickly silenced. And then, suddenly, the family vanished. The breakthrough came in the form of a diary. In Eleanor's attic, inside a locked trunk, they found Anna's journal. The final entry was dated the night she disappeared. It spoke of fear, of running away, and of a secret place, Whispering Rock. Tommy knew the place. It was deep in the woods outside of town, an old granite outcrop locals used for picnics and ghost stories. They went together, Eleanor and Tommy, on a warm autumn day. The path was overgrown, but still there. And near the rock, buried beneath leaves and moss, they found a rusted tin box. Inside were keepsakes, a photograph of Anna and Eleanor, a silver necklace, and a final note. If you find this, it means I made it out. I had to leave. I couldn't stay. I'm safe. I hope one day I can come back. Thank you, Ellie, for everything. The discovery sent ripples through Willow Creek. The local paper published a story about Eleanor and Tommy, and for the first time, the town truly listened. A few months later, a letter arrived addressed to Eleanor. The return address was in Oregon. Dear Eleanor, I saw the article. I cried when I saw your name. I'm safe. I've built a life. I have a daughter now. I always remembered you. I never forgot that night or how brave you were. Thank you for never letting me disappear. With love, Anna. Eleanor kept the letter in a silver frame by her bed. Tommy became a local hero, and with Eleanor's encouragement, he began writing his own detective stories. He never forgot the lesson he learned from that summer, that even the smallest clues can lead to the biggest truths, and that courage sometimes comes in the form of a quiet letter, hidden away, waiting to be found. And in the town of Willow Creek, beneath the rustle of trees and the echo of bells, the secret letter was no longer a mystery. It was a story of hope, friendship, and the power of never giving up.